All right. Hey, this week, everything is happening, right? There's so many events happening. I had to break this weekly top 5 into the top weekly, okay? And this is part 1. Okay, Shane here with dailyastrocat.com, and boy, do I have something for you. Let's get sharing this and let's get going right away because this is jam-packed and it's actually going to be 2 shows of all of this stuff, okay? So here goes the first one. All right, there I am in all my glory. And the thumbnail, yes, that's what it's called. Okay, so we're going to start off with our new moon. We're going to start off with the new moon in Sagittarius because that's where it's going to happen. It happens at, I believe, 1:12 in the morning here on the East Coast. It already happened for the West Coast. So that's why it's new moon, black moon. Black moon for the West Coast, meaning that this is a focused. This is a great time for new initiatives in learning and exploring and traveling and doing all sorts of Sagittarian things, right? It's good for lots of different things, right? It's adventurous. It's good for our basis of learning, philosophy, all that stuff, right? Now, on the East Coast, we're going to have that hit us right first thing in the morning. So this is at whatever time that is. Hey, get back here. Okay, so anyway, you can see it right up there. All right, so what do we got? We've got our new moon, the moon and sun, all together, joined together. That's right, joined together. You can see Mercury is there, but it's outside of the orb. Mercury is at 20 degrees. The moon and sun are both at 9 degrees Sagittarius. That's going to be an important point because when Mercury is retrograde, goes back to that point, we can go back over what it is that we've learned so far. We can go over what it is that we're focusing on, what we're bringing forward, what we're bringing out from our learning, okay? Because this is a very, it's an evocative time. We're actually learning so quickly right now because the sun's in Sagittarius, we got the moon in Sagittarius, we've got all these higher ideas going on in our minds. Now, will it leave? I don't know. You know, Sagittarius can kind of get sticky, but we have that Jupiter influence. We're actually opposing Jupiter. All right. So this is an interesting thing because remember when we had the Mercury Jupiter opposition, but they are in they're in those signs where they're reflecting each other, right? They're both in mutual reception is what it's called when they're both in signs, even though Sagittarius is opposite from Gemini. Now, we've been through this before with mutable signs. The mutable signs don't really oppose each other as they work together in some way because they can find that common ground, right? The mutable signs means just that. It's easily adaptable. So the ideas, the high-flying ideas of, say, like Gemini or the talkativity of Gemini is well met in the outward expansionary view of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is looking for those new ideas, looking for them. And where is it looking towards? Gemini, because that's directly across from it, right? These polarities, as they're called, are very important when they come into play, particularly in the zodiac, particularly in the way that I like to interpret the zodiac, right? This is what we're looking at. This is this hope. This is where we're moving forward. These are these ideas coming in. Now, Mercury's retrograde. So what we're doing is we're really looking at what the old ideas we've had are, and we're reapplying them, and we're going back through. This is going to become huge fuel for the future. This is going to just feed us for a long time because this period that we're in right now, we're really just learning how to use the tools that are at our disposal and hone them, craft them, master them, right? Now, sounds kind of highfalutin. Our first aspect that we want to talk about this week is Venus trine Uranus. After that new moon, okay? And this is going to be very interesting because this is surprising. This is what we've got. We've got Venus right now in Capricorn. Now, she's not going to end the week in Capricorn. Spoiler alert, okay? That's a spoiler alert. Not going to end the week in Capricorn. However, we have her in Capricorn right now. She's not even at what you would consider the analytic degree. She's firmly in Capricorn. So we are bringing the practical to us. We are doing things that make sense, dollars and cents, right? That Capricorn is that energy that's very patient. It's very hardworking. It's Saturnian in nature, right? We're paying our dues. We're doing the price, right? We are doing our learning. If you're learning the right way and you're doing it, you're really going to take criticism, any criticism that's given constructively, and be able to apply it in a way to bring out the best. Now, if you look also, we've got Mars just about in the same degree. Where is Mars? Mars is at 6 degrees of Leo, and we have Venus at 24 degrees. Now, 6 plus 24, that's 30, right? So right at the beginning of Leo and at the end of Capricorn. Now, once we reach the point where Mars goes retrograde, Venus will actually just about have moved those last 6 degrees that Mars is in towards Aquarius. Now, mind you, keep track of that 6-degree mark for Mars, because it's not going to move much and it's not going to change much throughout the week. Because as planets begin to station retrograde, their movement slows down. So our actions become way focused on Leo things, which is bringing us fame, bringing us fortune, being generous, right? We're being generous. We're being prideful. We're putting our best face forward. This is what we're doing, right? So now, once we have that going right there, what is it that we can do with this Venus-Uranus trine going on? Okay, we see these sextiles popping up because we know that Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus are all within sextiles of each other. Pluto and Uranus are actually in a trine relationship, meaning they're working together, they're helping each other. Sextiles are something we're working towards, okay? Kind of almost better in my mind, because it's something, the trines are something that's given. It can almost be taken for granted. The sextiles are the things, that's how you get to the trine, right? That's how we're getting there. It's 2 sextiles equal a trine, 60 degrees, 60 degrees. That's 120 degrees. That's what separates Venus and Neptune at the moment, and Venus and Uranus at the moment. I'm looking right at it, and I call it Neptune. Don't ask me why. Mercury's retrograde, right? That's why. We'll use that as an excuse. So, surprising relationships, surprising things coming up. Now, remember, these things have about, 10-degree lead-in, somewhere around there. So we've been feeling this for a while. Just because it becomes evident today, that means that it perfects. There's a perfection there between Venus and Uranus. And then it's going to be a separating. So it's kind of going to let go a little bit. Before we were being drawn into it. Now we're going to just be released from it, and we're going to feel what we were feeling. Did we attract something practical to us? Did we bring something to us? Did we do well in, say, like cryptocurrencies or something like that? Our investments. Remember, we have Uranus sitting in Taurus. Taurus rules over those things, those financial type of things. Have we done something to make ourselves better in some way or shape or form? Yeah, that's something that we're going to be looking at and carrying forward with us as we bring the attractive power of Venus that was in Capricorn, bringing us the hard work and the rewards and the results and things that we want to be working on, the focus of our work, into Aquarius, where we're going to just take that work, start spreading it out there, throw it out to some people who want to hear it, because it's an air sign, we're going to air it out, right? And also bring some innovation and some uniqueness into the whole equation. Our next aspect that we're going to be talking about is Mercury trine Chiron. I almost didn't include this because it happens kind of first. However, when I was looking at it and I was thinking about it, I was like, no, you know what? This is important, because this is part of the once, twice, thrice, okay? This is the second time that Mercury and Chiron have joined together. You've heard a lot of different ideas about folks that are being successful with perhaps controlling their health, getting their health back. Myself, I've been hearing a lot about people doing intermittent fasting. My son is doing it. I have people at work that do it. And they've all lost considerable amounts of weight. Now, have I? No, I haven't. I stopped drinking. I pretty much maintain a vegetarian diet. But we've been having sourdough at the house, and I've been eating a lot of bread. So I'm going to knock that stuff out. And I just might try not eating anything until, my noontime meal, right? Just skip that breakfast out totally. My daughter calls it sumo dieting. She says it's not very good for you. However, the intermittent fasting folks have been having it work for them. And they've lost, most of them have lost 20 pounds in the span of the last, I would say 4 or 5 months. So it's pretty good, and I could really stand to lose that. So this is what we're talking about. Now, is Chiron always about current health? No, it isn't. It can be about past wounds and stuff, previous injuries to you, even karmic injuries. But that's mostly in a natal chart. In these mundane charts as we do them here, I like to consider that, our state of health, where we're at. And not only is it where we're at, but how we can help others, okay? We can help others by pointing these things out and by starting them ourselves, right? We've got Chiron in Aries. That's a sign of initiation. That's a sign of starting, beginnings, right? That's where we're at. That's what we're looking at. Now, we've got Mercury just about conjunct with the moon. So we're going to feel this. We're going to feel this deep within us. This is going to be an emotional thing. This is even something that we're going to want to communicate publicly, like I'm doing right now. Probably said way too much about it than I intended to, but this is where I'm at, and this is where I would like to be. And I'd like to see myself probably in the next 3 months by about my birthday, down by about that 20 pounds. I think it'll be better for my health overall, and I think it will be better for just what I want to do. So that's something for you to consider about how that could possibly apply to you. Not necessarily with the weight stuff, but maybe there's a healthy thing. Maybe there's a bad habit thing that you're doing. Maybe there's a way that you can start helping others. Maybe you're going to start doing a little bit more for yourself, okay? I like that. Now, our moon enters Capricorn. This is a big deal. This is a really big deal. Another AI image there. Pretty good, kind of sea-goaty looking, right? Even got the tails, got the moon, got everything going on there. I like it. The AI is getting better, like I've been telling you, right? The moon enters Capricorn. What is that? That's going to be Tuesday, right? Yep, that's going to be Tuesday. The moon enters Capricorn on Tuesday, and it is going to enter Capricorn. Look, I got to get a book because I can't read the thing because it's in the way. It enters on Monday. I'm sorry, at 4:09 p.m. So that's what you get for trying to go from memory, right? All right. So 4:09 p.m. our moon enters Capricorn. This is going to start a process where we're going to be able to really start to get down and dig into our creative projects, to creativity. Now, remember, Daily AstroCat is based upon forecasts for creative folks, okay? It's not really out there for your relationships or romantical stuff or anything like that, or even best days for doing things. No, this is mostly focused on creativity. What are we working on? What are we working towards? We look towards the moon, right? The moon in Sagittarius tells us that we're best off learning about these things. The moon entering Capricorn tells us we're best off to be thinking about these things and taking them very seriously. Just taking what it is that we're doing and what it is that we've done. Now, because Mercury is retrograde, we don't really want to start new things because that's going to be too hard. But we can definitely apply this energy to the things that we've done in the past. And this is going to make our future creations that much easier, okay? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about these kind of relationships, that not only the relationships, but now we're going to have the moon entering into a same sign conjunction with Venus. Same sign meaning they're far apart, right? They're just in the same sign. So we've got some lunar energy in there. We got Venusian energy in Capricorn, bringing that practicality together, taking it public, right? We got some public sitting there. We're talking about this. We're going to organize this, and we're going to organize this in such a way as to make it easier for us to create. But we're not going to talk about that right now. What we are going to talk about, though, is with this moon in Capricorn, it's going to give us this period to try to really consolidate that stuff. So last week's kites had us looking at what we were giving up, all right? Personally, I had to give up a lot of money. I had to give up some money for a bit of peace of mind. It's a trade-off, right? New alternator and drains in the house that actually work. We went into Thanksgiving with drain problems. Can you believe that? Ugh, talk about Mercury retrograde. They had those 4 planes collide or contact each other in Boston. Mess up travel for the beginning of the week, right? Monday was a mess. Mercury retrograde, right? Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde. You just repeat it. Repeat it and repeat it. Review, rewind, do all that stuff, right? Renew. That's the one I'm going to do. Look, I experimented on all my social media platforms this week, and I've discovered that YouTube was outperforming any other platform for me. That's important. Venus in Capricorn is where last week's This Means Business came from, right? Starting tonight on the second, starting on the night of the second, right after the moon enters Capricorn, we got a chance to consolidate any of those gains that we may have made in our creative projects, and we're going to set ourselves up for the future. And how are we going to do that? We do that with earth energy, right? Look, there's a firestorm of creativity, the moments that you get into a flow, and look, we all know how messy it gets, right? We just start ideas flying, and next thing you know, I've got 50,000 picture files. I've got this over here, that over there, this here. I've got my download folder full. Nothing's where it belongs, right? You can use the next few days to organize and restructure all these files, folders, papers, notes, voice memos, snippets, contacts, right? Whatever you're doing, you do it. By rearranging and consolidating our reactive assets, those assets that we just went, oh my God, just do it. From our older projects, we make it easier for us to access the things that we may need for future creations. Yeah, you just files, everything in their place. Computers, notebooks, however you organize your creative life, this is a good chance for you to just consolidate it with an eye of sharpening it, sharpening your reach, sharpening everything that you do with your past efforts. But it just makes it that much easier for the future efforts to flow out of you, right? To come bursting out. Okay, we have a Mercury with an opposition to Jupiter. All right, this is the second time. Once, twice, thrice, right? This is twice. We kind of alluded to this with the mutual receptivity of them. The Sun being conjunct with Mercury and opposite Jupiter. Jupiter's expansion, right? Mercury in Sagittarius is also expansion. Expand, right? Now, do we expand our ideas or do we expand in our creativity? Hey, why not both, right? We're taking these ideas back to us. We're going back to that 9-degree point. We're going back to where we can actually physically turn around, use them, and then put them out there for good. We're learning some really, really good things. This is a very, very beneficial place for these things to be in. It's not that we're doing it too fast. We can't because Saturn's here pumping the brakes, okay? If you can look right here, you're going to see this red line here between Saturn and the Sun and Mercury. That's a square. That's pumping the brakes. Do you see Jupiter here? That's also a square. That's Jupiter pumping the brakes. Jupiter's pumping the brakes on both of those things, making this T-square pattern that's really going to try to focus us on what it is that we need to be doing. And if you look opposite the T-square, there's Virgo, all right? That's where the midheaven is in this chart. Now, it doesn't matter what the clock position is on this, because what really matters is that we're organizing and we're getting things done and we're getting ready for that next step. That's what the T-squares tell us to do. Slow things down just a little bit, and let's get ready to rock and roll this stuff when it's time to rock and roll, because that's what we're really going to do. And if there's still such thing as rock and roll, then darn it, I believe in it, okay? And here we have the Sun square Saturn. We just talked about that, right? We just talked about that, how that's pumping the brakes, how that's putting on the brakes. We also have Saturn with Jupiter, but now we have Jupiter with dark moon Lilith. Do you see that trine right there? That's a good trine. Now, why is it a good trine? Because it allows us to use our creativity and our ideas and everything and let them express themselves in a way that we will not be tied down. We cannot be brought in. We cannot be limited by this. Now, with it in Libra, there's a balance there. We're not going to go crazy, but we're not going to accept the fact that Mercury is not really letting us move forward with some of these ideas. We're going to be using these ideas, but we know what to expect, right? We know it because we have the wisdom there between Jupiter in Gemini and the Sun and Mercury conjunct in Sagittarius. There's wisdom that's connoted there. The connotation of wisdom is that Saturn says we got to do the work. We got to do the work. We got to be patient, and we can do it. And we can do it despite Mercury being retrograde. We don't have to do it because Mercury is retrograde. And now we have our last aspect, I believe, for this particular part one, is the Sun trine Neptune. That's pretty cool, right? And is that a Sun trine Neptune? Yeah, maybe. Well, looks like we're looking at Venus trine. That's what it is. Let's check it out. It's not Sun trine Neptune. Oh, my goodness. You think you plan these things and they don't? Mercury retrograde. That's all I can say. Mercury retrograde. It is not the Sun. See, I misplaced my Sun earlier. And because when I was making the slides and I had Venus there, it is Venus sextile. Oh, look at that. I was going to probably use that slide too, the Sun trine, to make that the sextile trine. So we have Venus sextile Neptune. Oh, brings us right to these little guys here, these little things that are bopping around, right? Oh, now Neptune and Pluto are still sextile too because that orb is close enough. And we also have the moon coming into a sextile with Neptune as well. This focuses on what the dreams are, what the distractions are. What is it about these dreams and distractions can we make and turn into things that's going to attract things for us. It's going to bring things to us. Remember, Neptune is the co-ruler of Pisces, and Venus in Pisces is exalted. So this is a good position. Venus is a benefic. Venus does really good things, right? Venus is a way of us expressing these creative urges and stuff like that in a positive way. Now, we still have Venus in Capricorn, following that rule of Saturn, that Virgoan organization that we wanted to get through. It's not just a figment of our imagination. It's what we have to do to get clarity, because the ideas when they come in, like when Neptune goes direct, there's going to be a lot of them, and they're going to be very conflicting. So we have to be able to sort out what it is that we really want to do from what it is that we think we want to do, from what it is that is real, what's an illusion, from getting lost in our own thoughts and our own behinds. And we do that by being focused and by having the things right there at our fingertips that we want to say, rather than go looking for them and go down endless rabbit holes, because this explains my mental process. I just go rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole. And I can lose an entire day to just rabbit holing rather than putting out the creative stuff that I want to do and having it make sense and be coherent, right? That's what we need to do. We have to get it coherent. And we're gonna make this coherent, because as Neptune traverses through Pisces, we get less of the dream state, and we're going to start getting more of the Mars state, the active state, the I will state, the will it into being. I am creative. That's what it's going to be like. It's going to be like, you are creative. All right. So that's all I have for you for part one. Okay. Make Daily AstroCat part of your whole routine, okay? Our podcast is on YouTube. It's also on all your favorite podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, you name it, right? Do me a favor, wherever you hear it, wherever you're at, subscribe to it, share it, click it. On YouTube, ask us to receive the notifications, okay? I appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for watching today. Happy AstroCatting.